Hi guys, I'm gonna sit down and do the November prompt. I always love these ones that are more sort of photo based and not quite so like brain thought heavy, I guess. And I'm gonna follow the prompt basically as it's set out in the classroom. So first thing I have to do is collect a bunch of photos, and again, to make things easy for myself, I'm just gonna go through my photo roll. I'm not going to take any new specific photos for this prompt. I'm just gonna go through and see what I've got and probably put together 2 photo collages. I'm thinking I'm gonna do like a full page spread. With maybe the tag in the pocket. Ellie had those little circles with the free download. I want to use that somehow. I'm just not quite sure how. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the photo collages, and I'll show you in Photoshop how I do that.
So I've opened up all of my photos in Photoshop, and I've also created this new document. It's slightly smaller than my actual notebook page. I've created it so it's 4 inches by 8 inches high, and that's purely so that I can make things easy on myself to create this collage. And each of these little squares for my photos is going to be 2 by 2 inches, and then the whole thing will fit onto my notebook page with just a little border around the edge. It just makes things easier for me to work in whole measurements rather than getting down to like 2.143 inches, purely making things easier on myself today. So just going to make this collage really simply. It obviously is just a gridded collage, so it's not particularly difficult, but I'm going to go through each of my photos. I'm going to use my crop tool and put in 2 by 2 as the dimensions, and then I'm going to go ahead and crop my photos just the best way that they look. If a photo needs editing, I will do it here, so I might adjust the levels a little bit. This is a terrible blurry photo actually, but I took that this morning, so I really liked it. And then the only thing I'm going to do is go to my layers palette, and I am going to flatten my image before I select all, copy, and go back to my document and paste that image in. And so you can move it around wherever you want, but I'm going to put the other 8 images in here first and then shuffle them around so that they look in the best. So that's how simple it is to make a little collage in Photoshop. I'm going to make a second one of these. I know certainly in Ellie's example she didn't use this many photos, but I just want to create a full page spread. So I'm going to create 2 of these collages, 1 on each side. You could have just done the 4 photos, so 1 at the top and 1 at the bottom, and made them 4 by 4 inches. But I quite like this little look, little square look. So I'm going to go ahead and make a second one of those and then finish up the page.
Okay, so I've got my photos printed out. I'm just going to trim those out and stick them into my book, and then work out what I'm going to do with my pocket page.
So this is what I meant by sizing these collages at 4 by 8 inches. It means that when I trim them out, and I am just very quickly trimming them out, they fit with just a little border around the outside of the page, so they're not quite full page. They do have that little bit of white space, which I quite like. Now, as far as what I'm going to put into the pocket, I kind of decided I liked it clear, but I did want to use these printables that Ellie had in the classroom, the Right Now circle. I really loved it. So what I decided to do was give foiling them a go. So I just printed out the PNG file from the downloads. I printed it just twice on some regular printer paper. The reason I printed it twice was because I wasn't really sure what color I wanted it. I added a couple of different colors of foil and ran it through my laminator. I don't have a mint ink machine. I've just got a regular laminator, and I've never used an ink machine, so I don't know if the results are any different, but I do find the results with my laminator a little bit hit and miss. The first time I tried this, it was perfect. It just wasn't quite the color of foil that I wanted. So I decided to give it a go with these 2 colors. And as you can see here, the results are really bad. So I wasn't really sure what to do, but I decided to just try again.
Okay, so since I managed to get this first one to work so nicely, but then these ones were like such an abysmal failure, I went back to the drawing board and had a couple more goes at it, and I got some much better results. So what I did instead of all of those other techniques I had on the previous video, I just put the sheet through as it is. This is just plain printer paper, printer cardstock. And I put the foil on and only taped it across the leading edge. So this is the edge that I fed into the laminator. I only taped it across there, and as you can see, I got some much better results. This one's really pretty. This is a deco foil one. It's called Opal, and it is super pretty. It's obviously much darker, like it looks white in the pack, but on top of black toner, it goes sort of a much darker color. But I also got way better results with that really beautiful pinky purple one. I did a gold one that only has a couple of little imperfections in it, and same with that holographic one, just a couple of little lines. So don't expect great results first time, just experiment, play, work out what works for you. But that's how I foil with a regular old laminator.
So I didn't want to just cut these circles out with scissors. I wanted them to be reasonably precise so that I can cut like a second piece of cardstock exactly the same on the back, so for my journaling. So I very luckily ended up having a thin metal die that was exactly the right size for these circles. It fit really nicely, was easy to sort of fit within the foiled piece, and just ran that through my Cuttlebug. And I am doing all of them. I don't know which one I'm actually going to use, so I decided just to do all of them, that way I can choose later on, and I'll be able to just keep those other ones for something else. Now, as far as my journaling goes, I just put the die on top of some white cardstock, drew a pencil line around it, and then ran it through my typewriter so I knew where to type, and then die cut that out as well. To put this into my notebook, I decided to use a piece of acetate. So I've just trimmed down a piece of acetate to fit into my pocket. It's just going to give it a little bit more sort of weight and help it sit nicely on the page. And then I went through and decided on the purple one. I really loved it. It's a beautiful color, plus it matches some of the photos in my spread, which I really liked. So I've just glued that onto the acetate on the front. I just laid that acetate on top of the pocket to make sure it was straight and in the right place. And then I can flip that over and glue my journaling down exactly in the same spot. And so then when you put the acetate into the pocket, you have this perfect little circle.
So I really love how that turned out. Super simple. Using that acetate piece, the transparency in the middle there, just gives this page a little bit more sturdiness. And I'm glad I went with purple for a little bit more color. It's just, yeah, it tickles me. This is fun. Plus, I've got all these other little circles that I'll be able to use on something else because they are so shiny and pretty. I am going to have quite a lot of this book left over. If December's prompt is the last one, I'm only halfway through my book. So I'm not sure whether I'll do this project next year in notebooks or not. I'm thinking I might use a Life Crafted album from Citrus Twist, but we'll have to see. The reason I'm thinking about next year is because I'm pretty sure I've settled on a word. It kind of struck me while I was out for a walk a couple of weeks ago, and I've kind of been mulling it over, and I think it's a good fit. So I'm already a little bit excited about next year. very excited to have got this far again this year. So let me know down below, are you thinking about next year's word already? How far through are you with this year's? And what sort of words are you thinking about? Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you again really soon. Bye!